ESPN Classic. The date was November 19th, 1966.
Well, everyone seems to agree that this is the dream game of the century. Notre Dame is ranked #1 in the country, and the Spartans are in the #2 position.
I still say to this day, I'll argue with anybody, it's the two best teams ever to play each other.
Jimmy Ray, their quarterback, calls the signal. There's the snap. Cavender gets the ball. Touchdown over right tackle. Back to pass goes O'Brien. He looks. He throws long. It's to Glazio, and it's a touchdown. Notre Dame.
There was some vicious hitting going on.
It was a tough game. We were all tired. Your adrenaline's pumping, the game's going. You're playing in the game. Unless you can't run, you play.
For the next 2 hours, we'll look back at one of the most controversial games and endings in college football history.
The controversy all surrounded Ara's decision right at the end of the game.
I stood on the sidelines and made the calls for 11 years at Notre Dame. Am I going to relinquish that to a group of second guessers?
It's the game of the century, now on Classic Big Ticket. Hello and welcome to Classic Big Ticket, the game of the century, pitting #1 Notre Dame against #2 Michigan State from November 19th, 1966. This is the first time the original telecast of this historic game has ever been rebroadcast. For the next 2 hours, we will relive all the hype, the magic, and the controversy surrounding this clash of college football heavyweights. We're pleased to be joined by two of the game's star players. Our first guest joins us from Hollywood, California. He was a two-time All-American at Michigan State, was the 1966 UPI Lineman of the Year, and was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1988. He also helped the Baltimore Colts pass the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl V. We welcome in Charles Bubba Smith. Bubba, good to have you with us on Classic Big Ticket.
Thanks, Dave.
Our next guest was a member of Notre Dame's national championship team of 1966, was the team's captain in '67. He scored 14 career touchdowns for the Fighting Irish. After serving in Vietnam, he went on to play 11 seasons with the Steelers, where he won 4 Super Bowls. Rocky Bleier, thank you for joining us here on Classic Big Ticket.
Hey, you're welcome, Dave.
Guys, before we get started, I think it's important to explain just what made this game so special. This matchup marked the latest meeting between the AP's top 2 teams since that poll began in 1936. Both schools came in undefeated. Not only were the Irish 8-0, but 5 of those wins had been shutouts. The Spartans were 9-0, riding a 19-game regular season winning streak. Media coverage was unprecedented. There were more than 700 credentialed journalists. It was the first game ever to be broadcast live to Hawaii and Vietnam and received a higher television rating than Super Bowl I, which took place 2 months later. So the hype obviously is on. Bubba, the Michigan State fans used to yell, "Kill Bubba, kill" to you when you took the field on game day. Now, we understand that in the week leading up to this game, that chant followed you everywhere. What was the atmosphere like on campus that week in East Lansing?
Well, on Monday, they stopped by my room, and it was about 10,000 students, and they started yelling, "Kill Bubba, kill." So I went to the window, and I raised the blinds up, and they said, "Speech, speech." And I said, and they said, "Yeah," and they left. So it was just, the atmosphere from that point on was tremendous.
That was one of the great oratories of our time, huh?
Yeah.
Rocky, this was the ticket of the year, as you know. A Michigan liquor store owner offered to trade his entire store, his whole store, for 4 tickets to this game. You had more than 2,000 Michigan State students who applied for membership in the band the week before the game, because being in the band meant you'd get inside the stadium. Now, Rocky, you played in 4 Super Bowls. How did the hype for this game compare to those?
Well, at that moment in time in both of our lives, Bubba's and mine and everybody that played, that was the biggest thing that was ever going to happen. That was the biggest game they were going to play in. And because of the hype, it was astronomical. I can remember the train ride. We're all sitting there. As we were leaving South Bend territory, as we were leaving Notre Dame territory, as we were moving across the state line, all of a sudden, along the train tracks, we saw more signs for state, how bad we were, and who was going to win, and what they thought of us and our parents and our heritage.
Well, as you guys both know, obviously this game had a huge sociological impact. There was civil unrest all across the country. Watts had gone up in flames in 1965. Earlier in the same year, in '66, Texas Western had defeated Kentucky to win the NCAA basketball title. Texas Western's starting lineup was all black. Kentucky's was all white. In this game, Michigan State had 12 African Americans in the starting lineup. Notre Dame just one. Bubba, as an African American from Beaumont, Texas, were any of the Southern schools an option for you in terms of the big-time schools?
No, not in Texas. I had talked to Dale Royal, and Dale, he didn't know when the program was going to integrate, so he said, I would give you a scholarship, but I don't know when the football program is going to integrate. So I said, no, I'll just see you in New York.
Rocky, what was it like for Alan Page, the only black player for Notre Dame? What was his life like?
Alan assimilated very well within the campus and in the program and on the team. And as I look back, it wasn't anything special or unusual from my point of view. He may have felt that he had an uphill climb or a struggle, or that he was unique. Well, Alan Page was a unique man as a player and as an intellectual. And so as a teammate, though, he was just like a regular guy, and I never thought of anything different.
Well, Bubba, we're going to get into the game in just a moment, but first we understand you spent part of the night before this game in jail. What happened?
You had to bring that up.
Oh, of course we did.
Well, you know, I didn't understand the parking rules, and I was driving, and everywhere I drove, they put a ticket on my car. And when we got ready to play Notre Dame, I was just driving down the main strip, and, you know, all the girls were out, and so, you know, I driving slow, and I see these lights behind me, and they tell me that that I have to go to jail because I got $2,100 worth of tickets. And I told Jimmy Ray, he was in the car with me, I said, tell Duffy I'm in jail. And the athletic director came over, Biggie Munn. Biggie came in, and I heard him talking to the chief of police. He said, you like your job, don't you? I said, tell him, Biggie, because I need to get out of here.
So how long were you actually in there then?
2 hours.
2 hours, all right. But you were in the game, which is more than can be said, Rocky, if you're All-American. Your halfback, Nick Eddy, who had some problems, had re-injured his shoulder falling off the train on the way to this game. So that gets us up to the game. And, guys, we do have a couple of very rare highlights here from the first and the second quarter. Two key plays we're going to show you here. First, we see Bubba knocking Notre Dame's outstanding quarterback, Terry Hanratty, out of the game. Hanratty, a huge star, just been on the cover of Time magazine a few weeks earlier, probably the highest profile player on Ara's team going down. Now, on the ensuing drive, after the Irish were forced to punt, Regis Cavender, 4-yard touchdown run here. This is early second quarter, first score of the game, capping off a 73-yard Michigan State drive. So the Spartans stake to a 7-0 lead at this point. Now, Bubba, you set the tone for this game early on with that hit on Hanratty. Tell us about that play.
I had an inside move, and when I turned around, Hanratty was on one leg in the air, and I just took the shot. I had no idea I'd hurt him until he left the game. Of course, in Rocky's book, he said that they were going to hit me from all angles where my head would be turning, you know, like this. And if I remember, the tackle, the center, and Hanratty went out. So I wasn't doing too much turning.
What happened to that strategy, Rocky?
Well, you know, I mean, part of the strategy was, all right, we got Bubba, huge defensive end. Okay, and part of our offensive attack is that when you're going to attack Bubba, you're going to hit him at the knees, you know, because big guys, they got to protect their knees. They just don't want to be hit in their legs. And we knew that if we could get Bubba and start running at Bubba and get George out of the way and do some motions. Anyway, it didn't work necessarily.
Apparently not. That's where we were getting at.
That's where
it didn't work.
We tried. That was the game plan.
Well, then, Rocky, and as Bubba alluded to a couple plays later, You guys lost your starting center, George Gedeke, so you're without your starting quarterback, you're without your starting halfback, and you're without your starting center. What's the mindset of your team at this point?
Well, you know, I mean, one, we knew that, you know, Nick Eddy wasn't going to be in the game. All right, fine. So we made that adjustment, at least mentally. Then when Hanratty goes down, Coley O'Brien, who was a comparable quarterback, same class, and so there was a lot of confidence. Now, I thought the most courageous man in that game ultimately was Tim Monty, the backup center. All of a sudden, he's put into the game as a center and playing against that great defensive line of Michigan State. He'd come back, that helmet would be twisted now and then, there'd be dirt in it, but, you know, he didn't give up. And so as I look back at the game, I thought he was one of the toughest guys.
Well, when we come back, guys, we will join ABC's telecast as things start to heat up in the second quarter. Michigan State has the ball and a 7-0 lead. Chris Schenkel and Bud Wilkinson have the call. It is the game of the century. Number 1 Notre Dame against number 2 Michigan State from 1966. Your classic big ticket.
This ESPN Classic program is brought to you by Atomic Solar G-Shock. Shock the world.
I am powered by the sun. I will never stop. I am precise. I am G-Shock. Shock the world with the Atomic Solar G-Shock.
The movie event of the season is the best movie of its kind ever made. Chicago Tribune. Thrilling, Newsweek, exhilarating, Rolling Stone. It will take your breath away. Russell Crowe. Master and Commander. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Ooh, his dandruff's back.
I've tried everything. I'm calling a doctor.
Before you go RX, get new therapeutic strength Denerex with powerful medicine not found in the leading brand.
It's cute. Nice hair.
Before you go RX, get Denerex.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. Next year all our troubles will be out of sight. So have yourself a merry little Christmas.
This holiday season, put out the good stuff. Planters.
Norelco Advantage with gel prevents nicks and cuts. Oh, how we'll miss them. Advantage from Norelco. Ultra close, ultra comfortable. Guaranteed.
Ace is having a sale. The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
Al Davis.
He's an us against them kind of guy.
A Sports Century Monday world premiere, December 8th. His controversial style started a war with the NFL.
He drove Pete Rozelle out of the business.
But is his private life even more shocking?
Al was fascinated by what Hitler was doing.
Who really is the man behind the silver and black? Find out. Sports Century Al Davis, a Monday world premiere. 8 p.m. December 8th, only on ESPN Classic.
Jimmy Ray calling signals from his own 19. Senior Clint Jones stopped in a hurry. He's the number 1 rusher for the Spartans. Alan Page, number 81, the defensive right end for the awesome foursome up front for Notre Dame, made the play. There is no gain. It is 2nd down and 10, and there is Coach Duffy Daugherty and his staff and players. Jimmy Ray, a junior quarterback, only 5 feet, 10 inches tall, 170 pounds. And there you saw that tiny little fella go from his own 19 to his own 47. What a gain.
when you have a ball carrier who is also a fine passer and he rolls out with the option to pass or run, if he gets outside the end, the leverage man, you have the defense in a totally untenable position. It was a called pass. Ray saw that the secondary was dropped back as he got around the end, and he turned down that speed.
And it was a 28-yard run, Bud. First and 10 for Michigan State from their own 47. They lead 7-0. Dwight Lee, who was squirming and turning, number 34. If he could have turned one more time, he had a blocker ahead of him. But he didn't go all the way, but it's a first down at the Notre Dame 37.
A simple veer buck play with the guard and the tackle of Michigan State double teaming, and the ball carrier Lee simply running away from the linebacker. You can see the split here in the Notre Dame line to spread that front four.
Very good. Regis Cavender, the sophomore fullback, carries on the play, and Pete Duranko, number 50, in on the play. John Pergine. And the carry is to the 36, a gain of 1. So it'll be second down and 9. Here's the Notre Dame defense, which includes Tom Rhodes, Pete Duranko, John Pergine, Tom O'Leary, Jim Lynch, John Horney, Kevin Hardy, Alan Page, Jim Smithberger, Dave Martin, and Tom Shane. Jimmy Ray. Interception. Captain Jim Lynch intercepted that ball and apparently was hit hard, fumbled, and Clint Jones recovered. Lynch is hobbling around in front of his defensive huddle. An interception by Jim Lynch, hit hard, and then Jones recovers for Michigan State, Bud.
A beautiful play by Dick Lynch. He picked the ball off perfectly. He didn't have quite time to put it away before he was hit, and believe me, he was hit hard.
There he is, number 61, a great leader from Lima, Ohio. First and 10 now in the exchange of the balls at the 37. Dwight Lee. He was hit quickly by Kevin Hardy, number 74, and John Horney.
The running attack of Michigan State has caused Notre Dame to change their defense slightly. Their two outside linebackers have been up on the line, making it a 6-2 defense rather than a 4-4. If Michigan State continues to move the ball with their running attack, we'll see more of that alignment.
Now, the rushing unit of Michigan State is number 2 in the nation. Notre Dame's is 9th. That offensive line you're looking at of Michigan State is not large, but they're quick. But they were not out of the huddle quickly enough. So we got a delay of the game penalty. You must snap that ball in 25 seconds after it's made ready for play.
With the crowd noise that we have today, Chris, it's very difficult sometimes in the huddle to hear the quarterback. He doesn't want to call anything loudly enough for the defense to hear it, and there's tremendous volume and tremendous enthusiasm in this crowd.
Now we have a split end to the far side for one of the few times, and it's Gene Washington as we look at Ray. Dwight Lee is a wingback. Washington. Tom O'Leary forced Washington, that split end, out of bounds, and stop action, Bud. Analyze it for us.
When you have the kind of speed Washington does, the defensive secondary must give room. You can see O'Leary dropping back. Washington made the sideline cut, a perfect throw by Jimmy Ray. His momentum took him out of bounds before he could turn upfield.
Okay, Bud. Jimmy Ray now has thrown 5 passes. He has completed 3. Michigan State has 7 first downs to Notre Dame's 3. They have another first down, and it's at the Notre Dame 26. Clint Jones in the slot. Cavender carried on the play. Horney is number 51. 64 is Duranko for the Notre Dame defense. 81 is Page. 61 is Captain Jim Lynch. So Michigan State gained 1 yard to the Notre Dame 25. It'll be second down and 9. Michigan State leads 7-0. 6 minutes, 17 seconds left in the first half. State scored after 1 minute and 40 seconds of the second quarter. Quick pass to Gene Washington. He was right at that spot, and Tom Shane, number 7, made the tackle, but a marker is down at the line of scrimmage.
One of the Michigan State men moved back to protect the passer just before the ball was snapped, so it's illegal motion on the part of Michigan State.
There you see the signal given by Howard Wirtz from Cincinnati, Ohio. The referee, and the down, of course, will be still second down, but the yardage is going to be second down and 14, and the ball comes back out to the 30-yard line. Michigan State marching 73 yards in 10 plays with the fullback Regis Cavender scoring. Alan Brenner split to the near side. Brenner going out, double covered. Down the middle, Gene Washington. Washington covered by Tom Shane. So now it's a 3rd and 14. Videotape stop action coming up.
They're in the wing set unbalanced line. Washington appears to be open. Shane comes up. Had the ball not been drilled as hard as it was, he might have made the interception here because he certainly was in position to do so. The ball got through him. Washington has it on his fingertips, but can't quite hold it.
You're watching the nation's #1 and 2 teams battling it out here at the tail end of the season. 3rd and 14 for Michigan State. Brenner going out on a pass pattern. Ray being rushed by Kevin Hardy. Regis Cavender, the fullback, was in the area of the pass, and coming in defensively was Dave Martin, number 56. So now let's see if Michigan State, with a 4th down and 14, will try a field goal. Number 42 is in the lineup, Dick Kenny. He sort of sneaks up on the ball every time he kicks. There is his bare foot. He is a Hawaiian, and he'd much rather have it in the sand and surf of the Hawaiian waters. I'm sure it'd be a little warmer. From the 36, it's a 46-yard boot. It's long enough. It's good! From the 36 plus the 10 yards of the end zone, a 46-yard boot by Dick Kenny of Michigan State as we have a timeout here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, where the score is Michigan State 10, Notre Dame nothing.
So it's the Spartans taking charge with the 10-0 lead in the second quarter. I'm Dave Revson as we continue our classic big ticket, the game of the century between Notre Dame and Michigan State from 1966, joined once again by Bubba Smith and Rocky Blyer. Now, Bubba, you guys caught a real break when Jim Lynch fumbled in his own territory after picking off a pass. That set up Dick Kenny's 47-yard field goal. Quite a distance in those days, and he made it barefoot on top of that with that old-school, straight-on style. How risky was the kicking game back then compared to now?
He got under the ball pretty good, so he got height on the ball right away. And how he could hit a ball barefooted, I don't know. You know, because I got ingrown toenails, and there's no way possible that I would even try that.
He may too right now after doing that for a few years. But now, Bubba, your defense, you guys are allowed just 9.9 points per game coming in. You're up 10-0. Did you think that cushion was enough?
No, I didn't. If it had been last year, I would have said yes. Now, you mentioned the fact that Notre Dame had shut out 5 people or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand, they were playing Navy, Army.
Oh, man. Yeah.
But, see, we lost our whole defensive line from my junior year. I was the only one returning. So we didn't have the same type of defensive line that we had when we went up to South Bend to play them.
Well, Rocky,
so no, I knew it wasn't safe.
Rocky, from your guys' perspective, you're down 10-0. You're in hostile territory. What adjustments did you guys have to make?
Well, a couple things that had taken place. They put a great drive together to get the first 7 points. And then I thought, well, we're back in the game when Jim Lynch intercepted and then fumbled. Boy, I was standing on the sideline watching that taking place. And I turned and we would have been. And then we also knew that Dick Kenny was a tremendous kicker. And Ara talked about it all the time, not allowing them to get into the position to put him in the game because it was going to be 3 points automatically. And so even though it was 10-0 at that time, you know, on the sidelines, you know, we still had our game plan. We'd been in big games before, and we still had some weapons. Who knew what was going to happen? As long as we went out and executed, and we just had to wait and see. That was kind of the attitude at that time.
All right, guys, we'll see you both in just a bit. When we return, can Notre Dame get back in the game? Stay with us here on Classic Big Ticket.
Imagine zooming to anywhere in a split second. Imagine 40 times mega zoom and lightning fast autofocus. Imagine what we can do together. The new Dimage Z1, another digital breakthrough from Konica Minolta.
ESPN College Game Day goes to the Swamp to celebrate a Sunshine State rivalry that initiates freshman star Chris Leak.
The Knolls have got some secret stuff ready for him.
College Game Day, built by the Home Depot, Saturday at 10:30 on ESPN.
The con men are ready to hustle, and the sting is in.
It's time to set the hook in Dickstown.
James Woods, Louis Gossett Jr., and Bruce Stern star in Dickstown.
I've never conned a con man.
A real classic hosted by Burt Reynolds. 8 p.m. December 7th, only on ESPN Classic.
With this telecast going live to Hawaii for the first time ever in television history, I'm sure after Hawaii and Dick Kenny kicked a 46-yard field goal for Michigan State, but they're probably doing the hula.
I would expect so, Chris. Here he is now, ready to kick off.
And his shoe was still off. There is Tom Quinn coming out to the 15, now the 20, the 25, the 30. Good blocking in front of him. Coming out to the 40, the 45, and down to about the 47-yard line. A beautiful return by Tom Quinn, number 19, as George Chatlis made the tackle, but now Notre Dame, for the first time, as a result of a return of a kick, is in excellent field position.
When you cover the kick with as much enthusiasm as Michigan State did, you have one wave. The Notre Dame blocking broke through that wave, which set up the fine return.
Seymour split, Glazio flanked, Coley O'Brien fakes. Good protection, down the middle to Seymour. And Seymour has yet to catch a forward pass here today, as Notre Dame now has thrown 8. They have completed 2.
That's only the second one that they have thrown to Seymour thus far.
So it'll be a second down and 10 for the Fighting Irish from their own 46. A team that won 8 straight this year. Michigan State also undefeated with 9 victories. Glazio and Seymour to the near side at the bottom of your screen. There is Bob Glazio, a sophomore from Louisville, Ohio, who's replacing the injured Nick Eddy at halfback. Jim Summers makes the stop. Beautiful play. Coley O'Brien completing it, and it is at the Michigan State 43, a Notre Dame first down.
He got a tremendous rush that time, but had presence to roll out away from the rush, which gave him time to complete the pass.
Slot formation, Blair in the slot. Inside, Seymour. O'Brien. Conjure blocking. And there was the slot man, Bob Blair, who was really hit at the sideline by Jess Phillips, number 38.
Michigan State has had the rush on both of the last 2 downs. O'Brien has been able to roll out away from it, and the Irish line has done a tremendous job of picking up the shooting linebackers.
That was a 9-yard gain. So for Notre Dame, it's 2nd and 1. Michigan State leads 7-0. 4 minutes, 36 seconds left in the first half. Coley O'Brien, the quarterback. Deep is Glazio. Touchdown, Notre Dame. Coley O'Brien. It was a beautiful arch pass, and Bob Glazio gets it, and it's O'Brien's first touchdown pass as a Notre Dame representative. A happy boy. So now we can have the score tied up. Correction. It's 10-0 with the field goal by Kenny. So now it's 10-6. It is up, and it is good. Joe Azzaro doing the booting for Notre Dame.
So Notre Dame responds by airing it out, cutting the Spartans' lead to 10-7. I'm Dave Revson as we continue our classic big ticket, the game of the century. I'm joined once again by two of this game's biggest stars, Bubba Smith and Rocky Bleier. Rocky, coming into this game, Terry Hanratty had thrown the ball 143 times compared to just 32 attempts for Coley O'Brien. How prepared do you think O'Brien was for a game of this magnitude?
I thought Coley was as prepared as any backup quarterback could be, or as anybody in his position could be. Coley was a very bright guy, a great athlete, and so he came into this game prepared as well as he could. But anyway, he's in the game at that moment in time, and calling the game plan as Ara had said it and taken advantage of what Michigan State gave us. So we finally get to the point where we can now get the ball into scoring territory, and we set up one play that eventually gives us 7 points.
Well, now we'll get to your thoughts on that play in a second, but Bubba, from your guys' perspective, I'm curious. You spent the week studying Terry Hanratty, the starter. How did it change your mindset all of a sudden now to be facing O'Brien?
We knew nothing about Coley O'Brien. Nothing. And I personally regret that I hit Hanratty, because I knew everything, how he moved, what was going to happen, where Seymour was going to be, if he rolled to what side. In other words, it threw us off completely. And we didn't have no clue as to his tendencies or nothing. And actually it worked to their advantage.
Well, let's talk about the touchdown that they got with Coley O'Brien as the quarterback. Rocky, tell us about the touchdown pass to Bob Glazio. He was playing your position due to the injury to Eddie. Was that play designed for you?
Actually, the play was designed for the right halfback spot to take advantage of what the defenses that we thought that Michigan State would be in. Now, you have to understand from my point of view, when that took place and when it happened and when Bob Glazio scored the touchdown, all I could think about it was supposed to be for me. I was supposed to be in that position until Eddie got hurt. I had to move over. Bob came in. He gets all the glory. I couldn't believe it. But it got us back into the game anyway.
Oh, you're a team guy.
That's right.
Now, Bubba, talking about being a team guy, your offense, you guys seem to gain yardage in huge chunks at some portions of the season, or not at all. And your defense, as we mentioned, incredibly consistent throughout. What was the relationship like between the offensive and defensive units?
Well, I didn't like that 3 and out. Go 3 plays and out and keep the defense on the field. If you go 6 and out, fine. That means that you're in a position to punt, put the backs against the wall, and let them drive the length of the field. But don't just go 3 and out from our 20 and then have to punt the ball to midfield and keep putting us in that position. When we scored the 7 points, I remember Duffy ran over to the defense. We got you 7 points now. Go win it. I said, hey, man, keep us off the field.
All right, guys, good stuff. We'll catch up with you again later as this thriller continues. When we return, we are off to the start of the second half with the Spartans leading it 10-7. There is much more to come, so stay with us here on Classic Big Ticket.
Ace is having a sale.
The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
This Friday from 7 a.m. to noon only, it's the early bird sale at Radio Shack. Shop early and save big with incredible deals. Like this DVD VCR combo, just $79.99 after $40 mail-in rebate. This DVD player with progressive scan, just $29.99 after $10 mail-in rebate. Or this complete home theater system with DVD for just $99.99. This Friday from 7 a.m. till noon only during the early bird sale at Radio Shack.
Shop the Shack, save big. It's Mitsubishi's national sales event, where you'll find no-interest financing on all 03s, like the Eclipse, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy. Or get a clearance deal on our best-selling sedan, the Galant. The 2003 ES starts under $16,300 after factory cash back. In fact, you could get up to $4,000 factory cash back on select 03 vehicles. And every Mitsubishi comes with an incredible warranty. Mitsubishi's national sales event ends December 1st, only at your Mitsubishi retailer.
It's good to taste the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field together. It's good to throw a 5,000-mile post pattern together. It's good to make your entire league beg for mercy together. NFL Fever 2004, rated E for everyone. It's good to play together.
The movie event of the season is the best movie of its kind ever made. Chicago Tribune. Thrilling, Newsweek, exhilarating, Rolling Stone. It will take your breath away. Russell Crowe. Master and Commander. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
ESPN's X Games 9. This DVD is your backstage pass to X Games 9. It includes tons of behind-the-scenes footage with your favorite action sports athletes. It also comes with a 63-minute bonus CD soundtrack. See X Games 9 through their eyes. Get inside X.
His controversial style started a war with the NFL, but is his private life even more shocking?
Al was fascinated by what Hitler was doing.
Sports Century Al Davis, a Monday world premiere, 8 p.m. December 8th, only on ESPN Classic.
There is the smokestack, and a Notre Dame man hung in effigy. And with the smoke almost going straight up, you realize that there is very little wind here today on a 30-degree afternoon. But we enjoyed the band at halftime. I guess the players were probably talked to in the dressing rooms.
Chris, at this time of the season, everything that you've hoped, prayed for since the first day of spring practice carried you through. In the case of Notre Dame, 8 games, Michigan State, 9 games, is now all at stake in the final 30 minutes. Everything else rests on what happens in these 30 minutes. Joe Azzaro kicking off for Notre Dame. Frank Waters in single safety. Waters coming up to the 10-yard line. Moving up to the 15, the 20, the 25. And is down at about the 31. Let's see. The ball squirted loose. Let's see if it is ruled a fumble. No. Michigan State retains possession as John Pershing made a hard tackle on the play, and it'll be Michigan State trying to move the ball from its own 30-yard line. In the first half, Michigan State had the ball 34 minutes to 27 for Notre Dame. Pardon me, they had the ball 17 minutes to 13, which of course was the game plan that they wanted to use. They ran 34 plays to 27.
Jimmy Ray handing off to one of his halfbacks, Dwight Lee, and there is a fumble now, and Notre Dame has recovered the football. Kevin Hardy, Pete Duranko running off the field in joy. Duranko recovered the football for Notre Dame. There is Coach Ara Parseghian. And this could possibly ignite the potent Notre Dame offense. They have a 1st and 10 at the 31 of Michigan State. Coley O'Brien remains in at quarterback. He has thrown 1 touchdown pass today. And an interception by Jesse Phillips of Michigan State. And look at their joy.
When we return, Michigan State looks to capitalize on the Jess Phillips interception. It's the game of the century, the Fighting Irish against the Spartans from 1966, here on Classic Big Ticket.
One tool that won't let you down.
Nice tool.
Leatherman.
Thanks.
Leatherman. Now you're ready.
Hey!
Gobble, gobble. Hear that? Gobble, gobble. You might have had your lion's share of that Thanksgiving dinner, but you won't be able to sleep until you answer the siren call of that leftover turkey sandwich. That's right.
We've got some of Mississippi's biggest games in history. Mississippi State battle.
At the Michigan game this year. Jimmy Ray. There's Gene Washington at the 20-yard line. Tom Shane covering on the play. Stop action videotape of the last play.
Notre Dame, of course, not expecting the pass to be thrown. You can see Washington here as he starts downfield, breaking to the outside, a very simple cut, thrown low so that there's no chance of interception. His knee being on the ground, the ball is dead at that spot.
And the line of scrimmage will be the 27 as our end zone camera shows you Michigan State. You see Ray getting under the center, Larry Smith. You see 26, Clinton Jones. Lee is 34. And it was Lee that got the handoff on a second down play.
Also on the previous shots, you could see the splits in the Michigan State line. The purpose, of course, being to spread out the tremendous size of the front four linemen of Notre Dame, Rhodes, Duranko, Hardy, and Page.
So now, Bud, we have a 3rd down and 7. Notre Dame's defense forms now. The big men up front as Gene Washington splits to the right as we look on. A marker is down as Clinton Jones is forced out of bounds by Page. And also number 25, Jim Smithberger, along with John Pergine. Marker was down on the field. Holding against Michigan State.
Illegal use of hands against Michigan State.
In the first half, Chris, Michigan State had 7 important 3rd down calls. They only made it on 1, but here in the second half, the first time they had the crucial 3rd down play, they did pick up the first down. It appears, of course, that they did not get it this last time. Notre Dame refusing the penalty in order to force Michigan State to punt.
That's right. Because it's a 4th down and 7 for Michigan State. And Notre Dame will get its hand on the football for the second time. Tom Shane hopes to get it and do something with it as we look at number 42, Kenny from Hawaii punting. It's a high pass. Gets it off beautifully. Tom Shane, fair catch at his own 42. Takes a cool young man to have that ball on a bad pass and then still get it away. Notre Dame takes over. Timeout here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. The score is Michigan State 10, Notre Dame 7.
When we come back, Coley O'Brien and the Irish offense trying to sell Bubba Smith, George Webster, and that vaunted Spartan D. This is your classic Big Ticket.
This Thanksgiving, you'll have a dozen things to be thankful for.
12 kids?
But only one night to catch the special sneak preview of the comedy that grabs hold and won't let go.
You soaked his underwear in meat. Funny, but wrong.
Steve Martin.
Woo!
Cheaper by the dozen. Rated PG. Sneak preview tomorrow. Check newspapers. On the next Real Classics, the con men are ready to hustle.
It's time to set the hook and dicks down.
And the sting is in.
2 things we never joke about: our boxing and our betting.
Can one fighter take on 10? Plus, host Burt Reynolds talks to Bruce Dern about his co-stars in this boxing caper.
Gossett was terrific, and Jimmy the same way. They're gamers.
James Wood stars in Digstown.
Never try and hustle a hustler. Actually, I believe it goes, never con a con man.
A Real Classic hosted by Burt Reynolds. 8 p.m. December 7th. Only on ESPN Classic.
Now you can stop smoking for free. As a special limited time offer, before Easy Quit goes on sale at your local retailer, you can stop smoking in just 7 days for free. Introducing Easy Quit, the natural stop smoking system that helps you stamp out nicotine cravings. Why pay up to $150 for other products, patches, gum, and expensive prescriptions when you can stop smoking in just 7 days for free with Easy Quit?
With Easy Quit, I quit smoking in 7 days, and I feel great.
I recommend Easy Quit because it's safe, it's effective.
Because Easy Quit is natural, you won't have to worry about side effects like weight gain, nervousness, or insomnia. Do it for your family. And most importantly, do it for yourself. Because now you can quit smoking in just 7 days. So call right now to get the complete Easy Quit Stop Smoking System. A $159 value, absolutely free. We'll also send you a 3-month supply of Easy Lung to help you on your way to a healthier, smoke-free life. The complete Easy Quit system is well over a $200 value, but it's yours absolutely free with this limited time offer. Call now.
As we look at the Notre Dame offensive team, we'd like to point out that, unfortunately, technically, electronically, we have lost all our cameras except the end zone and sideline cameras. So we'll try our best to cover it with just a few. Coley O'Brien to Bob Blyer, and Blyer is tripped up by Sterling Armstrong, number 31. So Notre Dame has moved from its own 43 out to the 48-yard line, a gain of 5 on Blyer's run. It'll be 2nd and 5. Michigan State leads 10-7. Notre Dame trying to fight back. Bob Glazio coming to the near side. Seymour split opposite. Larry Conjar carried on the play, and he gets into Michigan State territory at about the 48-yard line. Richardson on the tackle.
Once again, Notre Dame apparently feels that Michigan State is more concerned about their passing than their running. They've reverted to the running attack.
A measurement now taking place, and you see less than a yard for a Notre Dame first down. So it'll be 3rd down.
At this point, from a coaching standpoint, you always wonder, should you pressure them to try to keep them from making the first down and leave yourself vulnerable to the long gainer, or do you play a steady defense that will prevent the long gainer? In this case, I would guess Michigan State will go get them.
Both Terry Hanratty and Nick Eddy, 2 stars of Notre Dame, were injured early in the ball game. Shoulder injuries on the part of both. So Coley O'Brien and Bob Glazio have filled in. 3rd and less than a yard. And it appears that Coley O'Brien from McLean, Virginia, has the first down for the Fighting Irish.
Very good call by O'Brien. He set a double flanker to the bottom of your screen, causing the Michigan State secondary to have to move to that side, and then ran the sneak back to the short side tackle at the top of your screen.
Coley O'Brien, number 3, directing the attack. Quite a responsibility for a sophomore. Played some this year, but not a lot. Blyer inside the 45 of Michigan State. George Webster, the co-captain, made the play.
2nd down, 2nd.
We received word from the Notre Dame bench, Coach Ara Parseghian, that neither Terry Hanratty or Nick Eddy will play today unless it's a dire emergency. Now, Bud, that can mean almost anything.
It looks to me like it is constantly.
Dave Haley is in the Notre Dame lineup now, going out on a pass. But the Michigan State pass rush, led by Richardson, 57, 82, George Chatlis and Bubba Smith, number 95, and look at the size, 6'8", 290 pounds.
It's the first time this afternoon that the Michigan State rush has gotten to Notre Dame. It came at a very fine time for the Spartan cause because it gave them reasonable field position again.
So now it is 3rd down and 19. Dave Haley, a speedster, is flanked to the near side. Blyer. The first man to nearly get Blyer was Bubba Smith, but then Charlie Thornhill filled in, the linebacker, along with George Chatlis. Flyer moves to the 48-yard line, a gain of 4, but it's going to be a 4th down and 15. And Alan Brenner, the sophomore from Michigan State, goes back deep, now joined by number 43, Frank Waters. Kevin Hardy will punt left-footed for the Fighting Irish. On a bouncing ball, Brenner took the chance of trying to run it back, and he is down at the 5. And downing him there was Haley for Notre Dame, as we have a timeout here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. The score is Michigan State 10, Notre Dame 7. Now we return to our studios for this message.
This was the Spartans' final game of the season. They were ineligible to play in the Rose Bowl because they had been the year before, and the Big Ten prohibited its teams from going to a bowl game 2 seasons in a row. Notre Dame, which still had 1 game remaining against USC, did not participate in bowls at the time because they believed the games interfered with final exams. Stay with us. There's much more to come in this game of the century from 1966 here on Classic Big Ticket.
Ace is having a sale.
The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? Because having the right car or truck makes all the difference. Sweetheart, your honey-do list just got a little bit longer. Sorry.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
The new Braun Free Glider automatically dispenses a protective shaving conditioner, reducing the risk of abrasion, giving a clean, close shave.
And if you're not completely satisfied, we'll give you your money back. Braun, designed to make a difference.
Imagine zooming to anywhere in a split second. Imagine 40 times mega zoom and lightning fast autofocus. Imagine what we can do together. The new Dimage Z1, another digital breakthrough from Konica Minolta.
Donovan McNabb and his mom are coming to your home.
Hey, what's going on? Come on in. Where's the kitchen? Back here.
And they're bringing dinner. Campbell's Chunky Chicken Corn Chowder. Now heartier with even more chicken. Sure beats another frozen dinner.
One game before you go. I'm McNabb.
No, I'm McNabb.
Come on, Donovan. I'm always McNabb.
I am McNabb.
Boys, play nice. I'm McNabb. It's my house. I'm McNabb.
I'm McNabb.
I'm McNabb.
Have chunky soup for dinner. Make it Campbell's instead.
Back again in East Lansing, Michigan, where the score is 10-7, Michigan State leading. As you look at other scores, we have 6 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Michigan State with the ball at their own 5-yard line with a 1st and 10. Bob Apisa is in at fullback for the Spartans. In his own end zone to Washington. Gene Washington. And that pass was in the air about 50 yards as Ray threw it from his own end zone.
A very courageous call that time by Michigan State. A bootleg play. You see Washington start downfield as Ray is bootlegging the backfield, simply outrunning O'Leary. He's well behind him to make the catch and give Michigan State the field position that they have not had thus far this half.
With the ball now at the 46. Ray is 5 for 9 passing. Beautiful play by Kevin Hardy, number 74, from Oakland, California. A junior, 6'5", 270 pounds.
Ray had some running room there, Chris, had he not been caught from behind.
Thrown for a loss of 1, so it'll be 2nd down and 11. You just joined us. Michigan State leads Notre Dame 10-7. Michigan State scored first. Cavender capping a 73-yard march. Then Dick Kenny kicked a 46-yard field goal. O'Brien threw to Glazio for Notre Dame to make it 10-7. And Clinton Jones, for the second time today, shows his ability at broken field running. He is tackled by John Horney on the play.
A new offensive set that time for Michigan State. A wing back to the bottom of your screen, an unbalanced line with the end over to the top of your screen. The Notre Dame defense had to move over. They overcharged and set up the successful draw play.
3rd down and 2 for the Spartans at the Notre Dame 47. Jimmy Ray, his rushing yardage. And Bob Apisa, who had an ailing right knee in the lineup now, was tackled by Jim Lynch and John Pergine, number 50.
That's the 3rd time that Michigan State has had 3rd down and relatively short yardage. The only time that they have made it was when they scored their touchdown from the 4-yard line. On the other 3 3rd and short yardage situations, the Notre Dame defense has been able to close them off cold.
There's Tom Shane, and with his low-cut shoes on is Hawaiian Dick Kenny. High pass again. Tom Shane looking at it, calling for a fair catch, but then allows it to go into the end zone. There'll be a touchback. Very wise decision on the part of veteran Tom Shane, number 7. Saturday afternoons in the fall mean colorful football right here on ABC. With timeout, the score is Michigan State 10, Notre Dame 7.
So this game shaping up as a defensive battle. Which unit will yield first? Stay tuned. When we return, we'll be joined again by Bubba Smith and Rocky Blyer here on Classic Big Ticket.
Just stop. That's not on anybody's list.
Hectic holiday shopping can wear you down, so Staples makes it simple with digital and technology gifts that are easy to buy. And right now, Staples.com orders are delivered free. Holiday gifts at Staples. That was easy.
Honey, I got you the Dayquil. It'll take care of your cold symptoms, so you'll have the energy to get off the couch, go out in the snow. Snow?
Dayquil, the non-drowsy, stuffy head, sore throat, coughing, aching, fever, help get back your energy medicine. Now lasts 50% longer.
The movie event of the season is the best movie of its kind ever made. Chicago Tribune. Thrilling, Newsweek, exhilarating, Rolling Stone. It will take your breath away. Russell Crowe. Master and Commander. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
Ace is having a sale.
The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
Wendy's is your last chance to win the final spot on ESPN's Dream Job, the new show that will crown the next SportsCenter anchor. Just go to Wendy's and find the code on your cup. Then log on to ESPN.com/DreamJob and enter the Wendy's wild card.
Coley O'Brien has thrown 10 passes, completed 4, one for a touchdown to Bob Glazio. Hanratty, when he was in, threw 4, completed 1. Glazio comes to the near side, as does Seymour. You see him at the bottom of your screen from the 20. Coley O'Brien. At the 30, that is Blyer. 5 for 11 now. Jim Summers made the tackle for Michigan State.
That's the possession-type pass, Chris, we were talking about before the game. When Notre Dame scored their touchdown, they were able to hit 2 of those. When the secondary comes up to cover them, they leave themselves open for the long one, which resulted in the Notre Dame touchdown.
RI formation. Conger, Blyer, along with Glazio behind O'Brien. Good fake by O'Brien. Conger, the fullback, stopped by Drake Garrett on the play. And Coley O'Brien now, going to the air, has moved the Fighting Irish to the 47 and a first down. Dave Haley comes into the Notre Dame lineup replacing Bob Flyer. He wears number 22 on his white jersey.
Conjar was hit as he caught the ball. He did a great job to hold it.
Jim Seymour to the far side. Glazio opposite. That was Glazio, and Jess Phillips lowered the boom on the play.
Have a dual isolation shot coming up for both receivers, which will give you some idea of the problem that the defense has covering. Here they start down the field. You can see him breaking to the inside. He's hit very hard. Beautiful defensive secondary play.
You just saw both receivers on a dual isolation video take setup. Now it's a second down and 10. Flyer is back in the lineup. And that is Haley, number 22, from Hingham, Massachusetts, a junior. And he stepped out of bounds at the Michigan State 30. Drake Garrett there to cover. Beautiful pass from sophomore Coley O'Brien.
Armstrong had pulled away from the sidelines just a step too far. Normally the defensive halfback gets as far from the sidelines as he feels he can cover when the ball is in the air, but that time O'Brien lined it and he didn't have time to get back.
Seymour to the far side, Flyer in motion. Tackle eligible play, Bud, on the last one.
He was certainly open. The pass was just a little bit too hard for a tackle who's not usually used to catching the ball to hang on to. That was Seiler moving into the clear, but not being able to hold on to the ball.
Coming into this game, O'Brien had thrown only 32 times compared to Hanratty, who had thrown 143 times. And I think this sophomore is doing a great job. Loose ball! Larry Conger fumbles. Sterling Armstrong recovers. And let's watch it again as a penalty marker is down on the field here at East Lansing. My, what collisions. They are really hitting hard.
They certainly are, Chris.
Offside against Michigan State on the play, Bud.
That will give the ball back to Notre Dame. Let's look at that last play on stop action. You'll see what hard tackling really amounts to. The hard drive and the hard hit by Webster, the ball popping up in the air. Intercepted in the air by Armstrong. However, because Michigan State was offside, the Irish retained possession. First down on the Michigan State 25.
On the 25, 5 yards to gain. Down is replayed, second down. And going wide is Haley. And getting him in a hurry was Sterling Armstrong. His fumble recovery was nullified by an offside penalty against his defensive unit. So from the 21-yard line, it'll be third down and about 1. Michigan State is in the lead, 10-7. The Miami of Ohio graduate, former coach of Northwestern, Ara Parseghian. First down. Notre Dame and Larry Conger did it as Tom Regner did the blocking up front.
Tight formation that gives you more power blocking along the line of scrimmage on a crucial third down play.
Now we have a flanker in Haley at the right of your screen. At the left, that is Seymour. Flyer knights his way to about the 12, and Jim Summers makes the stop. There is Flyer, number 28 for Notre Dame from Appleton, Wisconsin, a junior. The number 2 pass receiver on the Notre Dame roster. So now we have a second down and about 5. Seymour and Haley to the near side. Conjar, the senior fullback, carried on the play, the number 2 rusher. And George Webster is in on the stop, along with Charlie Cornhill, as we have a Michigan State substitute. Nick Jordan comes back in the lineup, Bud.
The power of the Irish running has forced Notre Dame, Michigan State out of their 4-3 into a 5-2. With Jordan coming into the game, they probably will be in a 6-1 this time.
A single man behind the quarterback, O'Brien. 3 potential receivers are out, and there they go. Coley O'Brien, they're covered. Jeff Richardson, number 57, stops O'Brien. O'Brien sent out 3 receivers. At the end of the third quarter here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, the score is Michigan State 10, Notre Dame 7.
We're through 3 quarters of this game of the century with Notre Dame seizing the momentum. I'm Dave Revson, joined again by Michigan State's Bubba Smith and Notre Dame's Rocky Bleier. Now, Bubba, during this final drive of the third quarter, Notre Dame lost another player. Bob Glazio got hit by Jess Phillips. His thigh bruise was so severe that he didn't fully recover until the next fall. How did the hitting in this game compare to others you'd played in?
It was some vicious hitting going on from both sides of the line. I mean, every time you would look up, see, Jess would throw forearms. That's why he got that big pad. He called it the devil.
Well, Rocky, speaking of big hits, you took one from George Webster in the kidney and urinated blood after the game. You wound up with a lacerated kidney. You missed the final game of the season against USC. How in the world did you stay in this game with a lacerated kidney?
Well, you know, those things, you know, if you feel it right away, in which I felt that one, I thought, oh, man, what happened there? You didn't know to what extent it was, but it wasn't enough to take me out of the game. I mean, your adrenaline's pumping, the game's going, you're playing in the game, you're focused there. You know, unless you can't run, you play. What people have to understand is that here are the really 2 #1 teams in the country at that time. So when you have that, something's going to happen, and there's going to be some injuries. But that's the way the game was played.
Hey, Bubba, interesting turn of events during this drive. Your team recovered a fumble, but that play was nullified because you were offsides. We're going to take a look at it right here. You're going to be highlighted in the picture, and let us know what happened here.
Wait. That was offside?
That was what it was ruled.
Well, you know what Bubba got to understand. Bubba had been offsides throughout the whole game. They just wouldn't call it. They got those Big Ten officials up there. You know, they wanted the state to win, and so until we finally got on him, you know, to say, hey, look at Bubba, look at Bubba, look at Bubba. He's always offside. No, I don't know whether that's the case, but but they finally did call it on that one.
I'm speechless because that doesn't even look close to being offside. Boy.
Yeah.
Because I'll be hurt all week.
Now, after all these years, Bubba, I want to thank you very much for being offside.
If not, just to make it clear, you know, you guys recovered the fumble, Michigan State did. Notre Dame would not have kicked the field goal to tie the game. So it was a critical play. Whether or not you were offsides, obviously up for debate, but that was the call. Guys, when we return, the Fighting Irish look to tie the game. We'll be back with much more here on Classic Big Ticket.
What's inside me? Alien Quadrilogy.
I thought you were dead. Yeah, I get that a lot.
On DVD Tuesday. From playing with fire, he was going to come after you, to a reputation up in flames.
Sprewell is going to be scarred for that forever.
Sports Century, Latrell Sprewell, a Monday world premiere, 8 p.m. this Monday, only on ESPN Classic.
All right, here's the play. Sunday night at 8. Go to ESPN Classic. Stop at the couch, and the best sports movies of all time will be right there.
Real classics with Burt Reynolds.
Where sports and movies collide.
I am so hungover.
And you've got to be at work in an hour.
come you feel so good? You drank more than I did.
I took Chaser, remember?
Chaser?
Chaser tablets. You take them right after you start drinking, and you're guaranteed never to get a hangover.
Chaser is clinically proven safe and effective. It absorbs hangover-causing toxins like a sponge, so you can wake up feeling alert and energetic, not hungover.
Looks like you should have taken Chaser, too.
Buy Chaser today at GNC, Walgreens, and these other fine stores.
Now playing on pay-per-view. How about we settle this on the black side? Get ready. Get set. Watch Too Fast, Too Furious on pay-per-view.
Let's see what this thing can do.
And stay tuned after the credits to see the hot, ludicrous music video Stand Up from his new album, Chicken and Beer.
When I move, you move.
Plus, learn how to get a free promotional copy of the CD soundtrack, Too Fast, Too Furious, now playing on pay-per-view.
A record crowd. And now, with the final quarter about to start, it appears that Joe Azzaro, who has kicked 2 field goals this year in 2 attempts, will try to tie the score. From the 17 plus 10, a 27-yard kick. Here it is. It's good. Joe Azzaro from Pittsburgh, a senior, has just tied the score in the battle between the nation's #1 and #2 teams.
And after 45 minutes, Chris, we're right back where we started.
As we have Azzaro kicking off to Michigan State. Frank Waters has the ball just across his own 20-yard line, and John Horney, a senior from Youngstown, Ohio, makes the stop. As Duffy Daugherty is on the near side of the field, cheering his boys on. Gene Washington now to the near side. 1st and 10 for the Spartans. A long pass to Washington. Tom Shane covering on the play, along with Tom O'Leary, number 40.
It appeared that time Notre Dame was ready for the long shot to him because both O'Leary and Shane were covering.
From the 22, it's 2nd down and 10 for Michigan State with a score tied. Washington. Chris Schenkel, along with Bud Wilkinson, hoping that you're enjoying this game. And Ray now is 6 for 12, 50% of his passes completed. And look at him rush. Jimmy Ray, the junior from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Chris, again, that's that play we talked about where Ray looks at the defensive linebackers, and if it looks that they're going to blitz down the middle with the guards going to the outside, it's an automatic check with his guards and center simply blocking those 2 shooting linebackers, and that time, of course, it's set up perfectly.
From the 34 to the Notre Dame 46, 1st down. Clint Jones, who is being most certainly keyed on in this ball game, stopped by number 74, Kevin Hardy. 2nd down and 9. And busting through was Jim Lynch, number 61, the captain of Notre Dame.
That time again, Ray was ready to run the sneak, but the blitz that Notre Dame had on came through every gap, and there was no daylight.
Notre Dame defense has allowed only an average of 75.5 yards per game this year, ranking in the top 10 of all the schools in the nation. And now they have got to try and stop Michigan State, who has a 3rd and 11 from the 47. Incomplete. Tom Shane is deep, number 7. And it's sky high. Fair catch at about the 7-yard line.
I was surprised to see Shane catch the ball there, Chris. Normally, safety men do not handle the ball inside the 10-yard line. I think he lost track of where he was on the field.
It's time out here at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, where the score is Notre Dame 10, Michigan State 10.
Hi, I'm Dave Revson. This is your classic big ticket, the game of the century between Notre Dame and Michigan State from November 19th, 1966. Stay with us. There is much more to come including a wild finish, controversy, and more insight from Bubba Smith and Rocky Blyer here on ESPN Classic.
Ace is having a sale.
The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
The movie event of the season is the best movie of its kind ever made. Chicago Tribune. Thrilling, Newsweek, exhilarating, Rolling Stone. It will take your breath away. Russell Crowe. Master and Commander. Rated PG-13. Now playing.
I create. 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 I create believers, nightmares, posters, truth. I create with freestyle. Freestyle.
NBA Live 2004 with freestyle. Ready for everyone. What do you create? EA Sports. It's in the game.
Time for the post-game wrap-up. Let's go to Tracy.
We're with the host. Fred, how'd it go today?
It was rough, Tracy. We ran out of dip in the third. Ice was a problem the whole game.
How'd you pull it out?
Well, ESPN had a great matchup, and I had plenty of Tostitos. They were my rock.
Gonna relax tonight.
Planning next week. Hey, I'm on TV here!
Stock up on Tostitos for your college football get-togethers. And catch great games every week on ESPN.
There's glory for the individuals who come together for a common goal. You tame the elusive beast of time and space, bringing together offices from every corner of the globe, working in real time, as if shoulder to shoulder. You have the new Microsoft Office system. Go team.
What's classic?
Let the celebration begin.
Classic is. Classic was.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Classic will always be.
All the band is out on the field. Holy mackerel. Daugherty turnaround shot in the air. It's good. And this one will last a lifetime.
Now that's classic.
Welcome back to Classic Big Ticket. I'm Dave Revson. We are moving ahead to further action in the fourth quarter. Notre Dame punted twice, Michigan State once, so it's now Spartans ball with good field position on their own 48.
Back again at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. The game of the decade. And there you see the score, 10-10. We have 7 minutes, 34 seconds left in the game, Bud.
Notre Dame has been putting on a tremendous rush up the middle. I believe on this series of downs we can see Michigan State work a little more on the Notre Dame flanks than they have been. The way they have run the ball has forced Notre Dame out of their 4-4 into the 6-2 that you see here.
Jimmy Ray, who's 6 for 13 passing, sticks to the ground, and Dwight Lee, the junior from New Haven, Michigan, is stopped on the play by Captain Jim Lynch and John Pergine of Notre Dame. So the Spartans move the ball into Notre Dame territory to the 49, a gain of 3, so it'll be second down and 7. 7-minute mark coming up now with the score tied. Our I formation, they pass from it. Intended for Dwight Lee, number 34 of Michigan State. This year he had caught 6 passes, and Jimmy Ray now is 6 for 14.
He slipped a little bit that time, Chris, as he rolled out. The rollout is being used, of course, to avoid that tremendous rush up the middle. By rolling out, you're running away from people shooting up the middle if they are successful in getting through the gaps.
From the 49 of Notre Dame, Michigan State, third down 7. Our I formation. Intercepted by Tom Shane. Tom Shane, a former quarterback at Notre Dame, will get another star on his gold helmet as a result of an interception here today. That was a beautiful play by Shane. He now has 5 interceptions, so we'll call him a 5-star Fighting Irishman.
Credit for the rush there also. It forced Ray to throw when he's off balance.
From midfield, Coley O'Brien gives to Rocky Blyer, who goes to the 45 of Michigan State. Charlie Thornhill and Jeff Richardson make the play. So you Notre Dame fans, you have a little life, as Notre Dame's Tom Shane came up with the interception, and there's the Notre Dame coach. From the 45 now. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Dave Haley is to the far side along with Seymour at the top of your screen. Coley O'Brien gets a rush. And he got a rush that was tremendous by Charlie Thornhill, number 41.
Second time that the rush has gotten home to O'Brien, and it was very fortunate because the receiver was wide open.
So now we'll have a 3rd down and 6 coming up for Notre Dame at the 45 of Michigan State. 10-10 with about 6 minutes left in the game. Seymour to the near side. Dave Haley, a junior, to the far side, top of your screen. And benching in was George Chatlis, number 82, on O'Brien. The pass was intended for Blyer. So, Bud, once more, it's a 4th down and 6 with the score tied in the closing moments of the big battle.
The screen was set up perfectly. Had Chatlos not gotten to O'Brien to force him to throw before he was ready, that play could have gone the distance.
There is number 86, Alan Brenner, for Michigan State, as Kevin Hardy will punt now for the 4th time here in the 2nd half. And he skies it. It'll go into the end zone, through it, and it'll come back out where Michigan State will have the ball at their own 20-yard line. 1st down. We have just received word that after medical examination, Terry Hanratty has a shoulder separation, and his arm is in a sling, so needless to say, he won't have an opportunity to come back out and show his great skill.
The interception gave Notre Dame much better field position than they've had at any time in the 4th quarter. Michigan State was within about 15 yards of field goal range. Now they're backed up 80 yards from the goal line.
Apisa in at fullback from the 20, 1st down. Tom Shane, his 2nd interception. Tom Shane gets his 2nd interception in a matter of a few minutes here. Let's watch the stop action on the play.
On this particular play, Shane looks as though he's Willie Mays patrolling center field. The receiver starts downfield, breaks to the inside, and here comes Shane. A perfect catch. He picks up beautiful blocking, moves the ball to the 18-yard line. And now, of course, Notre Dame is in field goal range, even if their offense does not move the ball to the goal line.
And from the 19-yard line, it was Larry Conjar, the fullback, that carried for the Fighting Irish. We have 5 minutes, 35 seconds left in the game with the score tied. Jeff Richardson on the tackle. 3 interceptions now by Notre Dame today, where Jimmy Ray this year was intercepted only 6 times in 9 games. Now it's a 2nd down and 9 for Notre Dame. Dave Haley. We have to salute Haley for not fumbling the ball, because Bubba Smith and Charlie Thornhill, along with Phil Hoeg, really hit him.
Michigan State took the big gamble that time. They poured 8 men through, single coverage on any receivers, but they were gambling. Notre Dame would not throw the ball.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 17 from the Michigan State 24 as a result of that loss when play is resumed. This Saturday must certainly rank as a great one for football fans. This game between the Fighting Irish and the Spartans of Michigan State will decide the national championship. And following this game, you'll see either the Southern California UCLA game with the Rose Bowl bid going to the winner, or the California-Stanford game. So please consult your local listings for the time and game in your area. Capacity crowd, in fact, it's a record crowd of 80,011. This coach, Ara Parseghian, has made a defensive change for the Fighting Irish. Cronetti has come into the lineup. He wears number 21. Did I say defensive change? I meant an offensive change. 5 yards. Charleston, West Virginia, sophomore, number 21, Frank Cronetti. 5'8", 173, with a third and 17 at the 24. Out goes Seymour. Flyer is out there. Bubba Smith tipped the ball. And Coley O'Brien now is faced with a 4th down and 17. With 4 minutes and 43 seconds left in the ball game. The score tied. Look how wide open Flyer was. Seymour was deep in the end zone, and there is Flyer just waiting.
Very fortunate that that ball was tipped.
Now they kick from the 31. It's a 41-yard attempt by Joe Azzaro. He's 3 for 3 this year. It's up. No good.
Some wild action on both ends, culminating with that missed field goal by the Irish. But don't go anywhere. There's much more to come. You don't want to miss the unforgettable and controversial finish to this game of the century here on Classic Big Ticket.
One tool that won't let you down.
Nice tool.
Leatherman.
Thanks.
Leatherman. Now you're ready.
Hey!
There's a war being waged between the FBI
Put the gun down!
and the mob.
Who do you work for?
Divided by a line both sides are ready to cross.
FBI!
Line of Fire, premiering Tuesday at 10/9 Central on ABC. Viewer discretion is advised.
From playing with fire, he was going to come after you, to a reputation up in flames.
Sprewell is gonna be scarred for that forever.
Sports Century, Latrell Sprewell, a Monday world premiere, 8 p.m. this Monday, only on ESPN Classic.
Over 1 million understand its strength. It can improve your energy, your shape. This is Bowflex Power Rod technology, and it can only be found on genuine Bowflex equipment, like the new Bowflex Xtreme. Now you can get the results you want, the exercises you need, all at an affordable price. You've never seen this Bowflex before. Call 1-800-789-6700 now and get a free video or DVD and check out the new Bowflex Xtreme. You can have a high-performance body. Just look for real Bowflex Power Rod technology, proven effective at burning fat and building muscle. Now you can own the new Xtreme for no money down and only $19 a month. The Bowflex Xtreme is not available in stores. You know you're ready. Let Bowflex help you get there. Call now for a free video or DVD today, because your results matter.
Two teams that have all the array of weapons necessary for exciting offensive football and all the defensive giants necessary to stop attacks. Here in the second half have reverted to the kick and football, and now Michigan State 1st and 10 from their own 20. Clint Jones is thrown for a loss by Pete Duranko, 240 pounds, number 64. Time left. Score tied.
The draw play is supposed to slow up the rush, but that time Duranko read the draw so well that instead of slowing up the rush, It resulted in a loss for Michigan State and will do nothing to change the Notre Dame defensive tactics.
Gene Washington to the near side. Dwight Lee is a flankered opposite. Second and... That was a second down and 15 play. The pass intended for Washington with O'Leary covering. And now Jimmy Ray has thrown 17. He has completed 6. Notre Dame has attempted 24, completing 8.
This is a very tough call. Michigan State, of course, going for victory. They've got third down, approximately 26 yards to go. Do you go for the long pass, which Notre Dame expects? Do you try the draw, the screen, or do you run a straight-ahead play expecting them to drop out? Let's see.
Slot formation with a flanker. Third and 15. It's going to be mighty close. Cavender, the sophomore fullback, wheels his way out near the 30. And a measurement now is being requested by Jimmy Ray, the quarterback.
Of all the calls that the quarterback could have made, that, of course, was the least expected. When you do the thing the defense does not expect, you're likely to come up with the big yardage. It's very close to the first down. I don't believe that he quite made it. Let's see.
3 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game with the score tied, inches away from a first down. And that's a good reminder on your screen right now.
Fourth down and a foot to go. The national championship riding. Do you kick it and play for a tie, or do you go for victory? And as you can see here, Michigan State believes in trying to win.
Jimmy Ray at quarterback. And he gets it. First down, Michigan State. And there is a mark. Confidence that coaching staffs have of their football team, Bud.
It's also a mark of rare courage, because tie games do not upset the alumni too much, but they're very unsatisfactory to the players and the coaches, and it was go for broke.
That's right. The number 1, the number 2 teams in the country. Extraordinary teams. From the 31, first and 10 for Michigan State. 2 minutes, 55 left. And look at that pursuit by the Notre Dame defense. Jim Lynch, Alan Page, Kevin Hardy, all there on Jones, the All-American.
Clinton Jones has been one of the fine running backs in the country for 3 years. The Notre Dame linebackers are keen on him. He's had great difficulty running from scrimmage today.
And now Duffy Daugherty is switching tackles. Jerry West and Roger Rubinsky bringing in plays. Now it's a second and 13 following that 3-yard loss from the 28. 2 minutes, 20 seconds left in the ball game. Its score is tied. And the man that has been seldom used, Alan Brenner, gets the forward pass and brings Michigan State out to its own 36-yard line for an 8-yard gain. It's third down and 5.
A great example of what we call a series play. You notice the Notre Dame linebackers swarm all over Clinton Jones. That was the fake to Clinton Jones going to the top of your screen. The linebackers moved with the fake. That made Brenner open, picking up good yardage.
Now Brenner's to the far side on a third and 5. Brenner broke the wrong way. Jimmy Ray threw the pass to the left. Brenner broke to the right. Smithberger covering. Let's watch the wrong way pattern of Alan Brenner, but perhaps the quarterback, Bud, could have thrown it wrong way.
With this kind of noise, sometimes you don't hear the signal. As you could see, he thought the pass was coming to his inside. He was surprised when it went to his outside.
So it's a fourth down, and kicking will be Dick Kenny. Tom Shane is back. There he is. 1 minute 35 seconds left in the game. Fair catch call for at the... Oops. Notre Dame's Tom Shane recovers his own fumble. But do both teams want this ball game? Wow. Such collisions.
The fair catch is supposed to be a easy play to execute, but with tension as high as it is now, Chris, there is no easy play.
Right. And we have a minute and 24 seconds left in the game. 10-10, Michigan State and Notre Dame.
All right, so there's less than a minute and a half remaining. Notre Dame gets one final shot to break this tie. Hi again, I'm Dave Revson here on Classic Big Ticket, joined once again by Bubba Smith and Rocky Blyer. Rocky, Coley O'Brien, diagnosed as a diabetic just a few weeks before this game. His last couple passes were underthrown. In fact, he had gone 6 straight passes without a completion. What was your sense of how strong he was at that point?
You know, I mean, in all honesty, at that moment in time, as I reflect back now after all these years, I didn't have any sense of him being tired. I mean, it was a tough game. We were all tired. We were all exhausted, as players are when you have that kind of intensity. And so in all honesty, I really didn't look at Coley in any different manner than if Terry Hanratty would have been in the game.
Well, Bubba, meanwhile, your QB and good friend Jimmy Ray had not been particularly accurate going down the stretch here, some critical interceptions. Do you think that factored into Duffy deciding to punt on a 4th and 4 with less than 2 minutes remaining rather than go for it?
Well, I don't think Duffy would have gone for it on 4th and 4 anyway, you know, because you talking about Kevin Hardy, Alan Page, Pete DeRanco, and all of those people on there, Jim Lynch, on their defense, and we didn't have the offensive line to match up with them, you know, to go on a 4th and 4. Not even on a 4th and 2.
All right, well, Rocky, we are getting ready for the most talked about possession in this game, maybe in the history of college football. What was going through your mind as you took the field, and what did you think the strategy would be when you took the field for this final possession?
My feeling, and it's my feeling only, as we're going into those last 3 plays, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we got to throw the ball. We got to move it downfield. We got to win this game. We got to make that attempt to at least get a first down, get a big play, go for a touchdown. And we ran the ball, and we ran the ball, and we ran the ball. And I couldn't understand why we were doing it. And my feeling was just that I didn't understand why we weren't going for the big play or the big bomb.
Plus, they had a big-time Navy coming up the week after that.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
It's USC.
It is.
All right, let's be fair.
Southern Cal.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. When you return, you do not want to miss this unforgettable and controversial finish. It is coming up right here on Classic Big Ticket.
This Friday from 7 a.m. to noon only, it's the early bird sale at Radio Shack. Shop early and save big with incredible deals for only $5. Like a Barbie alarm clock, $5. Sharp touchscreen organizer, $5. M&M Groovy radios, just $5 each. Micro IR hot rod pens, $5 each. Or a 5-in-1 universal remote, you guessed it, $5. This Friday from 7 a.m. till noon only during the early bird sale at Radio Shack. Shop the Shack, save big.
Imagine zooming to anywhere in a split second. Imagine 40 times mega zoom and lightning fast autofocus. Imagine what we can do together. The new Dimage Z1, another digital breakthrough from Konica Minolta.
Ace is having a sale. The Ace one-day sale is here. Stop in this Friday to save on hundreds of items at Ace, the helpful place.
If men are so insensitive, why do they need 9 personal comfort settings? Spectra from Norelco. Ultra close, ultra comfortable. Guaranteed.
Before Mr. Taylor taught the world to play, before fiberglass, before parquet, before the word doctor was spelled with a J, and ballrooms were ball courts where the Renaissance played, before the hype and before the dunk, after the rhythm, but before the funk, before the money and before the fame, before new and old school, before school had a name, it was only the ball and the soul of the game. First school, Converse, only at Champ Sports.
This Friday, Zales is opening early with an extra $100 to $400 savings from 8 to 10 a.m., even on sale prices. Like this $5.99 half-carat princess cut 3-stone ring. This $4.99 half-carat princess cut 3-stone pendant. Or these $2.99 half-carat princess cut diamond earrings. Your choice, just $1.99. Friday morning only at Zales, the diamond store.
On the next Real Classics, the con men are ready to hustle.
It's time to set the hook and dicks down.
And the sting is in.
2 things we never joke about, our boxing and our betting.
Can one fighter take on 10? Plus, host Burt Reynolds talks to Bruce Dern about his co-stars in his boxing caper.
Gossett was terrific, and Jimmy the same way. They're gamers.
James Wood stars in Digstown.
Never try and hustle a hustler. Actually, I believe it goes, never con a con man.
A Real Classic hosted by Burt Reynolds, 8 p.m. December 7th, only on ESPN Classic.
Neither team has taken a timeout thus far, Chris, in this half, so they will be able to use quite a bit of this clock.
Coley O'Brien filling in for the injured Terry Hanratty. Fakes beautifully. Gets a block from Conjure. And then trips over his own man.
Great defensive play by Thornhill that time. He was blocked. He fought through the blocker and almost through the blocker into the ball carrier. The play looked like it would pick up a great deal more than the 4 yards.
47 seconds left in the ball game. 2nd down and 6. Score tied. Here's Coley O'Brien. Rocky Blyer. George Webster is number 90. And let's give credit to another Michigan State man on the far side who assisted on the play. Bill Hoeg, number 36. So now it's going to be a 3rd down coming up. The clock is stopped with 34 seconds left in the game. The score tied. The ball is at the 36-yard line. It'll be a 3rd down and 4, Bud.
Michigan State apparently has confidence in their ability to stop Notre Dame on the next play because they are the team, Chris, that took the timeout.
Michigan State, during the regular season, winning 19 straight. Coach Ara Parseghian, who has a tremendous record in his 3 years at Notre Dame. 24 victories, 3 losses, and 1 tie. At the moment, we have a tie ball game. But 34 seconds isn't really a long period of time.
Well, what is if Notre Dame can pick up this 1st down because they will have good field position with 4 timeout remaining. It doesn't take very long to run a play, Chris, when you can kill the clock, even if you do not get out of bounds, and it gives you the whole field from sidelines to work on offensively.
Haley goes to the far side. Seymour to the near side. 3rd and 4. That was Conjure that was trying for the 1st down. Let's watch it closely. The referee indicated that it is a 4th down. They did not make the 1st down. It's just shy of the 40-yard line.
And now Ara Parseghian faces the same decision that Duffy Daugherty had a few moments ago. Do you kick it away, or do you try to keep possession of the football?
Terry Hanratty is over there directly behind Ara Parseghian. Boy that sustained a shoulder separation early in the ball game, and we have to salute Coley O'Brien for filling in so capably. So it looks as though we're going to have a player come into the ball game. Number 38 of Notre Dame comes into the lineup. That is Dushney, Ron Dushney in the lineup.
If the game does end in a tie, Chris, it's one of those contests that makes you feel they ought to have an extra period in college football.
Okay, but Notre Dame lines up in an I with a wingback, and the linemen are in bunch. There they go, trying for the 1st down, and they get it. Coley O'Brien just kept that ball, and you see there are 10 seconds left in this battle. At halftime, it was 10-7. So we have only had a field goal kicked here in the 2nd half. Touchdowns by Cavender of Michigan State today, by Glazio of Notre Dame, Dick Kenny kicking a 46-yard field goal, and Joe Azzaro kicking a field goal for Notre Dame.
When you have two fine teams that are as well coached as these two 11s, they have an opportunity between halves to go in and discuss their strategy. Oftentimes, they get pretty much of a defensive stalemate in the second half.
First and 10 from the 41. Two dangerous men set out here to the near side. Blair and Seymour and Bubba Smith, number 95, breaking through as a Michigan State player appears to have been shaken up on the blitz of the quarterback and the pinching by defensive end Phil Hoeg. So we have 6 seconds showing on the clock here at Spartan Stadium.
That's the third time out for Michigan State. With second down coming up, it doesn't appear that they will be able to stop the clock enough to get possession themselves again.
A 30-second meeting between these two schools in a series that has been most outstanding. Notre Dame leading in the series 17 games to 12, but since 1948, State has won 12 and Notre Dame has won 4. State won last year 12-3. The previous year, Notre Dame with John Hewitt and Jack Snow down the Spartans. Seymour to the near side. And Coley O'Brien retains possession. And it looks like that's all at Spartan Stadium. There's Coach Ara Parseghian coming across the field, the native of Cleveland, Ohio, in that maze of people, probably trying to find Coach Duffy Daugherty. Arrow looking off to the near sideline, and currently there, at the moment, will not be any meeting between these two. Our thanks to our spotter Bill Friel and statistician Ben Gates. Once again, the final score, Michigan State 10, Notre Dame 10. This is Chris Schenkel, along with Bud Wilkinson, saying so long from East Lansing, Michigan.
The controversy all surrounded Ara's decision right at the end of the game to keep the ball on the ground rather than to throw the ball.
I know damn well he knew that with a tie game against Duffy, Notre Dame would get the vote in the New York media, or even the national media. But there was more media votes in New York than any place else at the time. And he knew full well that he'd get the vote if he walked out of there with a 10-10 tie.
I think he was wrong for running out the clock. He defends it, that's okay.
We didn't go for a tie. The game ended in a tie. I stood on the sidelines and made the calls for 11 years at Notre Dame. Am I going to relinquish that to a group of second guessers that decided what I should do in the last minute?
We had a lot of injuries. And, you know, we tried to throw the ball first down and Coley got sacked. So it's a very touchy situation. You know, we did a great job. We were down 10-0.
Because we didn't throw the ball recklessly, people criticized Ara, saying you didn't want to win the game. You played for the tie. What Ara didn't want to do, and he realized better than any of his players, we still had another game to play against Southern Cal.
Back then we didn't play any bowl games. That was basically, you know, make or break, you know, whatever we did at Southern Cal. And we went out to Southern Cal and beat them 51-0.
Now, would he have run the clock out if USC went on the schedule the next week? I don't think so.
So he got his tie, got his national championship, and Duffy went to his grave bitching about it.
So the game of the century ends in a 10-10 tie. Hi and welcome as we wrap things up here on Classic Big Ticket. We are joined by two of this game's biggest stars, Bubba Smith and Rocky Bleier. We asked Coach Ara Parseghian to join us on this program, but he declined, and here's what he said, quote, "In the 30-plus years since this game, I've said all I had to say about my decision." Bubba, let's start with you. Other players have said that as it became evident this game was going to end in a tie, they heard you screaming in frustration in the huddle. What were you saying?
Well, I was saying that they planned for a tie, which I was trying to, I said that because I knew if it ended in a tie, Notre Dame was going to get the nod.
Why?
They got more Catholic writers. It's just a simple fact. And I started saying that, and Coach Parseghian, I am sorry that that tag was put on you, but I was just trying to get us a place in history also.
Well, Rocky, as the clock was winding down, what were you thinking about Ara's decision to play for the tie?
Well, Ara, you know, I mean, at the time, Ara's decision, you know, it really wasn't explained to us until in the locker room after the game. When we went into the locker room, you know, and Ara said, hey, listen, he said, we had a quarterback that wasn't 100%. We didn't want to give them a ball in position to kick a field goal if it should be intercepted. And we were ranked #1, he said, and they had to beat us to take that ranking away. He said, and I didn't want you guys to lose this glorious season that we had. So that was kind of his decision.
Well, Rocky, it's interesting. You were talking about what Ara had to say in the locker room, and here's a direct quote from him saying, I simply wasn't going to give away cheaply the tie our crippled team had fought so hard to obtain. If we had been in the middle of the field, it might have been different, but I wasn't going to risk an interception because of Michigan State's great field goal kicker, Dick Kenny. Do you buy that explanation, Rocky?
Well, I mean, I do buy that explanation. I mean, it's the one, the one we've lived with for all these years, and at the time, it made sense. And, you know, he was in the position to, you know, to have to make those decisions at that time and what we were going to do. I mean, we had the ball down, between the 20 and the 30-yard line. We had to drive it all the way down. We didn't have a passing game, and so we were just trying to run the ball, and ultimately, yes.
Yeah, but Rock, if you just tried one pass.
Well, that's true. I mean, my feeling is at that moment in time was that, well, how come we're not throwing the ball? How come we're not doing this? You know, one pass. I really felt let down. I felt disappointed, as I'm sure everybody else did, because nothing was concluded. We didn't, nothing would end it there. And until Ara, you know, explained it from his position, and you know, and we bought it at that moment in time.
Well, this was Michigan State's final game of the season, as you both know. Notre Dame went on to thrash USC in its final game, 51-0. Rocky, I've already asked you what is the ultimate question regarding this game. I'm going to ask it to you now, Bubba. Knowing what you know now, do you think that Ara made the right decision to play for the tie?
Of course. Knowing what I know now, and knowing that he had another game to play to impress the poll people, yes. Had I been the coach, I wouldn't have risked my team either.
Well, both teams finished with identical 9-0-1 records, yet it was Notre Dame that finished the season as the nation's #1 team in both the AP and the UPI polls. The Spartans were second. Unbeaten and untied Alabama was third.
Now that's the team. Now that's the team that got the wrong end of the deal. You know, the unfortunate was that they were undefeated, but they didn't play any national games. And so ultimately, the writers then at that moment in time had to make a decision who's going to be the #1. You know, and so you know, we had to win it.
But Rock, you know, it wouldn't have mattered. Alabama couldn't have beat us no way.
Well, that's true. You know,
because I played against one of their All-Americans and almost killed him in the Senior Bowl.
In the Senior Bowl, did you?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you feel your championship ring is tainted when you look at it?
Oh, me?
Yeah, Rocky.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. You know, that's the way it was. You know, I mean, there wasn't a definitive game. It was the mythical national championship. It's the way it had been previously, and at that moment in time, that's the same way it was. And so I was happy to be able to say now, even in these days, that I played on a national championship football team.
Well, in reacting to those final rankings, Duffy, Daugherty, the coach of Michigan State, said, quote, we were #1 all season, but I don't believe in running the score up, humiliating someone to impress the voters. If you look at the stats, you'll see we dominated play. And remember, they tied us. We didn't tie them. Interesting differentiation
that's
there.
Right, yeah.
Bubba, Duffy made sure your team received its Diamond National Championship rings, too. What are your feelings regarding those final rankings?
But let me tell you how we lost the #1 ranking. We played in a storm in Ohio, at Ohio State, and beat them 16-13. And Notre Dame played Navy and beat them 51-0. And the next week, we were number 2 and they were number 1. How that happened, I don't know. But, you know, I know Rocky knows just like I know. It should have been
We are
co-champs.
We are co-champs.
And both of us had a great team.
Oh.
And I think that tie really put a lot of, it got people talking, and it's kept people talking for almost 30-something years.
Well, here we are again. I mean, here we are. You're right, Bubba. I mean, here we are 37 years later on the big ticket talking about that game and the importance. I mean, there's been articles written on the game, books been written on that game. So ultimately, it had a big impact in our society, in the game of college football, and maybe we can take some pride in the fact that we played on the team that maybe changed the course of how college football was viewed and seen by the public, and the impact that it has on television and in the media.
Well, guys, thanks for reliving the game of the century with us between Notre Dame and Michigan State from 1966. One final note. After this game, Ara Parseghian went to a small gathering at a friend's house. An angry caller tracked him down and reamed him out for his decision to play it conservatively. Several years later, after too many phone calls, Parseghian finally changed his phone number. For Classic Big Ticket, I'm Dave Revsey.